What's up, guys? This is Thag with Thag's Dino Reviews and Paleopolitics. And today we're going to take a look at Rebor's newest edition, the Diplodocus carnegi. And boy, is this a beautiful model. I really like it right off the bat. Anyway, let's take a quick look at it, and I'll give you some thoughts on it at the end here. It comes in two versions, Catch the Rainbow, which is the female, and Stargazer, which is the male. According to Rebor, the male has the mouth open. That's this version here. Now, if you start at the head, it's a little difficult to see in this view, but there are two openings for the nostril just above the mouth in the premaxilla. This is what most paleontologists think is right, and it looks good here. The shape of the skull looks good, and another thing I like is the front of the muzzle is somewhat squared off, which is exactly the way these are portrayed, and I think that's very accurate. I really do. The neck is in the neutral position, and again, that's perfectly counterbalanced with the long tail that it has. And by the way, I'm sorry I don't have the full thing in view here. My little filming station here isn't quite big enough. On the neck, just behind the skull, we start with a row of dermal spines that goes all the way down the center of the neck, crosses over the back, and the whole time that runs down, it's increasing in size. It gets to the sacrum, where you'll see the maximum size. Then they start to decline again as they go down the tail to almost the very end. The late Stephen Zirkus discovered these at the old Howe Quarry, and he was able to gather up a bunch more and make the observation that this was probably a trait of the Diplodocus. And it certainly looks good here, and I think that's the case. Now, he did not find all of the dermal spines, but he found a fair number of them, and even in 1934, when Barnum Brown was working the site for the American Museum of Natural History, he found some. If you look at the front feet, they have on the manus rather, they have the logger's pike in place, the right size. Can't see from this view, but the pike is actually elevated off the ground a little bit in what they call the retracted position, and that is an accepted view of how this animal carried these to keep them from getting dull. Anyway, they're very nicely done here. The rest of the manus has only the nubs of where claws would have been. If you go to the pes, in the rear, the three inboard claws are in place, the two outboard claws are gone, and again, these are perfectly represented here. There is a slight angle to the claws, and this is what drove Diplodocus forward. He'd get a good grip there, and that's what moved him on. The front legs are, I'm not completely sure on this. They're a little beefy. I don't know if that's completely correct. If you'll recall my review of the Eofauna Diplodocus, I thought those were very much in line with what they look like, but still, this is very close. The tail goes out in a, let's see if I can get you a better view of it here, of a nice long tail. It's easily over half of the total length of the animal, and that's correct in size. I think right now Diplodocus is considered to have somewhere between 80 and 84 caudal vertebrae, and that's well defined here. Okay, as far as the animal itself goes, yep, this is a real beauty. The scalation is perfect. The osteoderms look good to me. although I think we've only got, those might be a bit speculative because I don't think we recovered that many at all, and we can't be completely sure of their placement. But the scalation is, in my opinion, the right size. It looks terrific. It really does. This is a first-class model, and it also represents the fact that the art science models are really becoming more and more accurate. Each model that comes out seems to have more detail, more accuracy. Yeah, we still have the Jurassic Park stuff and the toy stuff, and we always will because there's a big market for that. But as far as the art science models go, they're getting better and better. If I had one knock on this model, and I don't know exactly why that's the case, but I think the paint job lacks a little bit. If you look at this one right here, it comes in 3 pieces when you get it in the box. You heat the end of the neck and the end of the tail, and they pop into the torso. However, on this particular model, I'm hoping it's just mine, you'll notice a pretty serious difference of shade right there between the tail and the torso, or the end of the sacrum. And I don't know what happened, but in person it's pretty obvious that it's not a good match at all. As a matter of fact, you could say it was a bad match. Even with that, when you take in all the other detail, the skin folding, the wrinkling, everything else that we know about Diplodocus, quite frankly, I think this is an A #1 model. And if you don't have it, I highly recommend that you get it. Now, a lot of times when I first see these models reviewed by other people, I have a tendency to hold back and wait a month or two before I purchase it if I can. And the reason is because sometimes it really grows on me, and this was one of those. When I first saw it, I wasn't all that impressed. Then I looked around and I found a real bargain on it. It was under $100. And by the way, as far as I'm concerned, to be a real science art model for the collector, the price is going to have to stay under $250 and be mass produced. I don't have any problem with there's a lot of beautiful high-end stuff that goes for a lot of beautiful prices. And I'm not interested in that when I can get this kind of a model available at an unbelievably great price. So if you get a chance, go to your favorite dealer, whoever you deal with most. If they handle a rebore, this model is more than worth it. It is a wonderful addition. That's the rebore 1/35 scale Diplodocus carnegi. All right, you take it easy, and I will catch you on the rebound.